I'm Dr. Fiona Lovely, and this is the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. I'm taking the taboos of menopause and peri-menopause and bringing light to the dark. No bullshit, no shame. It's time for us to gain a new paradigm in female health, out with the old and in with the new, and I'm bringing fresh perspectives from someone in the arena. I've been practicing women's health for nearly 20 years, and I'm spilling the tea on what it means to live at midlife, knowing that the best is yet to come. I'm sharing my Gen X approach to living through this transition. Sassy, a bit sweary, and always honest. Tactical tips and instantly usable information is my aim. I hope to make you laugh and that you learn something new that helps you embrace the change. Together, we bring power to the peri. Onward to the podcast. I want to introduce AGZ from AG1, the nightly drink for winding down and resting up. It's a melatonin-free formula with clinically studied ingredients like valerian, ashwagandha, saffron, and magnesium L-threonate to support your body's natural sleep cycle. As you know, I've been using AG1 in my morning routine for years, and now AGZ is my evening game changer. I love the chocolate mint flavor, frothed with cold almond milk and loaded up with ice. I sip it while I'm journaling, reading, meditating, or stretching, whatever thing I choose for my nightly sleep hygiene. It's the perfect signal to my brain to slow down. If you're ready to turn down the stress and focus on the rest, head to the link in the show notes. drinkag1.com/Fiona Lovely. Again, this link will be in the show notes. You'll get a free frother with your first purchase of AGZ. I love it. Welcome to the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. I'm Dr. Fiona Lovely, and today my guest is, we're in for a good ride today, friends. Kim Rogers, otherwise known as the Worm Queen. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I just got that trademarked, by the way. So that's really exciting. I'm trademarked. It's official. I am official. I'm on the books. Don't try and use my name, people. I am the Worm Queen. No.
The thing to aspire to. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
I did not. I did not see it coming. I'm very grateful for it, but it definitely was not born and been like, you know what? My life is not complete. I need to be Worm Queen. But now I love it. Like I loved it from the get. But I just didn't want to be known as Worm Lady. That's not sexy. That's not fun. You can't really merch that, but you can merch up a crown and some worms and it literally I have a worm on my shirt.
Yeah, you do.
It's got a crown. And it says queen. So
amazing.
My sister was a beauty queen. I always made fun of her for that. And now I'm a worm queen. So
Here we are. Well, how did you find yourself being called the Worm Queen? Let's start there. It's a story, isn't it?
It's a fun story. It's definitely a fun story. It's got some, ups and downs and I was crowned on TikTok. So I went viral on TikTok in 2021 after almost dying in 2019. And I was very, very ill. I had stage 4 endometriosis. I had had 13 surgeries. I had a hysterectomy when I was 29 years old. And the doctors really just could not figure out what to do with me. And so in 2019, my husband and I decided to basically, eject ourselves from real life. And I say the real world because in all honesty, we had a piece of land in Hoodsport, Washington, which is on the outskirts of a rainforest. And we sold everything and we moved out to this acre of land to build a log home, just the two of us. And as most chronically ill people know, it's very expensive to be chronically ill. And so I had really taken us down to bankruptcy. And we decided at that time to go out there and build and heal me or say goodbye. And so when we realized how sick I really, really was, I realized that I did not want my husband to have a mortgage or debt. I really wanted him to be able to grieve. And so from 2019 to 2021, we really put in every effort to figure out what was wrong with me. I got off all my big pharma meds. My doctors abandoned me at this point. No one was by my side. I live in Washington, so 2020 was a really big thing here in Washington. So I didn't really have anywhere to go either. So we really like set forth to heal my body. And so we got to a really good space. Honestly, I felt pretty decent. I'd gotten off all my big pharma meds. I realized that my eating was terrible. And so we started to kind of focus more on that. My husband started to grow mushrooms so that I had the actual mushrooms to heal my body. And then my skin was still a mess and my mental health was trash. And so I really was like, what else is wrong with me? Like something else is wrong with me, right? And I come from Western medicine. I've been in Western medicine since 2004. I call myself a Western medicine refugee. I hold 2 healthcare degrees. I ran 25 medical colleges. My specialties were neurology and endocrinology, and I worked in the ER. I did x-ray. So I've really been in this world for a really long time. I love medicine. I think it's fascinating. The human body is really amazing. So when I had to take my skills that I've been giving to everyone else all my life and turn it into myself and figure out what was really wrong with me, because there just wasn't anyone around me that was like, oh, well, your labs are normal. Your x-rays are coming back. We can't do any more surgeries. This is the way you have to live. And I'm like, that's so unacceptable. Who wants to live like this every day, day in and day out, trying to, you know, figure out one way of your health, and then you're in pain and you're not going poop, which was really a big problem for me. I just was always constipated, and I went almost 30 days not pooping. And
Wow.
I know it was crazy. And I'm in surgical menopause. So really my outcome was very bad. And so I was scrolling with purpose on TikTok in July of 2021.
Like everybody else.
Yeah, I was scrolling
Yep.
for education. And
Yes.
like at the time, all these natural things were coming up because Western medicine was really starting to become more villainized. And so I came across the gal's TikTok that said, I almost unalived myself over worms. I can't believe it. And I paused and I stopped and I thought, okay, well, this sounds legit, man.
Yeah.
So a few years before, I thought I had worms, and they actually wanted to do biopsies because they didn't believe that I had worms
Biopsies of what?
in my area.
Okay.
And so they couldn't do it that day. So they wanted me to come back 10 days later. And I said, do you think like I've got flares during the full moon? I have itchy butt often. Like do you think this could be something more than just like what you're biopsying? And they're like, no, you don't have worms. You're an adult. You live in first world country. And I'm like, okay, great. I guess you're going to chop on my vagina in
Yeah.
order to prove you guys are right, instead of me finding out if it could be something else. I went back 10 days later and it wasn't there anymore. There
Wow.
was nothing for them to biopsy. And so I started looking deeper,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of just forgot about it and I moved on with my life, and I didn't get any wormwood. I didn't do a colonic. I just moved on with my life.
Mhm.
And so then in 2021, when I saw this, it really made me stop and pause. Like, this could be a thing. I'm having flares during the full moon. My skin is a wreck. I've seen things moving out of my skin before, and I've seen questionable things in my stool and urine. And so I bought it. I bought what she was selling. I had this pain in my right side, was a huge indication it's time for me to have a surgery again, and I can't have any more surgeries. So I did it. I did the $30 tincture that was from Amazon, and within 3 days, I saw roundworm flukes and pinworms in the toilet, and I didn't even have to dig. And I never have had that pain again on my right side. And from that day forward, I have done this every single day since July 18th of 2021. I have not taken a tincture every day. I have talked about this every day. So I immediately grabbed my phone and I did a video, and it went so viral. Within 2 hours, 1 million people watched the video.
Wow.
It shut my TikTok off. It overheated my phone. And my whole side of my husband's family was coming that day to help us build the log home, like
Yes.
start us, because we had a
Yes.
foundation and some logs, and it was time for us to actually like get going. And I looked at my husband and I go, I got to opt out of this build now, right? Because I'm going viral
Yeah.
and I can talk about this. Like I
Yes.
can literally educate people. I am so sick still, but I can use my phone as my education platform and I can at least get some of this knowledge out of my brain, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have made videos every day
Mm-hmm.
and I realized how important this was. And people were putting comments in. I started doing videos. I did like 10 videos that day. And I just would reply to people's comments. And then I would get more knowledge from those. I mean, it was a phenomenon. And the reason why a lot of people hear about all of the parasite cleansing now is because of that moment. It
Yes.
was something in that moment in 2021 with everything going on because of 2020 and everybody wanting to seek more natural ways. I
Yes.
really pushed that envelope a lot on the TikTok. And then I brought all of some of the stuff over to Instagram. So it was a little more than just TikTok. But overnight, I got 200,000 followers and
Wow.
it was like such a wild journey with that. And so that was in July. And around September-ish, I started to like really dig more into it and research. I mean, from July, from the moment I went viral, I started researching other countries, protocols, the
Yes.
Amish protocols, Mexico. Like I started to really look at this in a different eye because of the fact that have we been lied to? Is this something that we should be doing? Are other countries doing this? What are they doing? And so I just really started looking more and more into it and really getting knowledge from my community. And then I started a company over all of this in December. So I
Very
went
good.
viral in July and then in December I was like I got to do something on my own. Like I got to make my own kit. I need to do this myself and I need to figure out ways to help other people because this really is bigger than just some viral video.
Yeah. 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 Well, you touched a nerve is what you did, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many stories of people healing themselves because Western medicine has not produced in the way that we would like to. And as you and I know, with insider knowledge, Western medicine is if there's a drug or a surgery or radiation you can have, you're okay. But if you don't fit into any of those boxes, I don't know, like menopause or perimenopause
Mhm.
or parasites, then
Or
you're hooked.
mold. Yeah.
Oh my God, mold,
Environmental
Lyme.
toxins. I mean, I
Yes.
have Lyme. So
Yes.
since this, just to fast forward, this has only been 4 years. So fast forward 2023, I found out I have chronic Lyme and have since I was 13 years old, and I
Wow.
should have never had a hysterectomy. And so when I figured all of that out a few years ago, me figuring it out because I've done most of this on my own. I
Yes.
have a lot of doctor friends. And so I'm like, could you get me this test? I'd like to know if I have this. So since then, I found out that I have active mold, 11 active molds in my body. And so does my mom. So I've actually backtracked this to genetics. And
Yes.
then we have the same one, same molds. And then I got bit by ticks when I was around 12 years old. And
Hmm.
I had been bit by 10 ticks and my behavioral issues because my dad was in the military, so I have my medical records from the day I was born, so I can track this back more than a normal person can. And so I realized around 13 I started having behavioral issues and I started become somewhat chronically ill. And so I can track a lot of this back to when I was bit by a tick, and then I'm sure I got Lyme then. And
Yes.
then as my teens developed, my whole body started to change in a different way than other teens. And I can track this back to that and realize that I probably should have never had a hysterectomy and should have
Hmm.
gone on a cleanse and really
Yep.
like changed my whole life. But I had no idea. The
Mm-mm.
doctors have no idea.
Mm-mm.
And so that's really why I'm so loud. It's really why I'm out here doing all this on a daily basis because of the fact that, like, more knowledge you have, the more power you have over continuing to be sovereign over your own
Yes.
health. you know?
Yes. Don't we love the sovereignty conversation, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that women in particular are just not, we're not conditioned for it. We're taught actually the opposite of it. So to have you be out here and loud and proud and talking about worms out your butt, just like we talked about, we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
I had some
I
worms
mean,
come out my ass. It's,
yeah, whatever. Well, and to the listeners, I said to Kim before I pressed the record, she was kind enough to send me one of her parasite kits, which has been sitting on my desk since July. I got it right before I was going to France, and I thought this is not the time to do it. And
Oh,
then I also know there's like we want to time, let's talk about this here at
yeah.
some point, Kim. We want to time it in terms of the moon cycles and all of that, and let's unpack the parasite conversation. Anyways, what I
Yeah.
said to Kim was, it's sitting here on my desk. I want to use it, and I'm scared to use it because who wants to see worms come out your ass is literally what I said.
Who?
So,
I did. I mean, I think that there's three
yeah.
types of cleansers. There's
Okay.
flushers, which you can be a flusher. You just go and flush. You don't even look. Then there's lookers,
Yeah.
right? So then they look, and then there's diggers.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, yeah. If I had more time, I'd make a digging kit, which is like
Oh
chopsticks, and then in the medical field we call them ass hats.
yes.
Poke some holes in them, and
Yes.
then you can kind of see, and you don't have to be so chopsticky with some gloves and a mask, and like you get your lab coat on, and you're like, I'm ready to go.
These are the people that are doing their own like pimple popping surgeries at home and
Oh,
stuff like that, right? Yes.
they're my best customers. They're
I
my
I
best.
bet.
Those diggers are the best. I got like 25,000 photos on my phone. We have a
Wow.
600-page free ebook in my
Yes.
profile that
Yes.
I identified thousands of worms, thousands. We're working next year on our book 3. There's 2 volumes, and we're going to do volume 3 soon because I have so many more pictures of worms.
Wow. Okay, well, you deserve the term worm queen because I'm pretty sure nobody else on the planet is as
No one.
enthusiastic about them as you are.
No
Okay,
one.
well, like let's unpack it. Why?
Yeah.
What parasites? Like, first of all, what are we talking about here? Like, are you saying that the parasites were causing the endometriosis for
Yes.
you?
Yes, I believe from my own research of my own body that when I had Lyme and these co-infections and plastics, right? Even though I was very, very conscientious, I rarely ever ate not hormonal chicken. Like as soon as I found out I had endo, I started to research a little bit more because it made me so sick. I would bleed for months at a time, and they were going to have to do blood trans. I mean, it was a whole thing for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so I would avoid plastics. And so I would avoid water unless it was bottled. But then now I know that water also had plastic. So it was like,
Yeah.
whatever. And
You
so
did the best you could.
I
Yeah.
did. I really did a pretty good job considering the lack of information that I really had over all of these environmental toxins that are inside of my body. And so, and it's a fact. It's not like I'm just suspecting that I have mold, parasites, and Lyme. I know I have it, right? I've done a
Mhm.
lot of different therapeutic protocols for it. But I do believe that these environmental toxins caused me to have a hysterectomy. And it's because the fact that they burrow so deep down in, and they aren't just in your gut, they're literally in your blood, your tissue, and your muscle. And so, really looking at it in a bigger picture, that's kind of what I have done now, looking back, is was this what caused me to have adenomyosis, which is a scar tissue disease inside? Yes. Do I believe that these things cause me to have the actual diagnosis label of endometriosis? Yes, I do.
Wow. Okay. So, oh, there's so many different things so many different ways I can go with this, Kim. Let me ask the question about what symptoms are we going to have when we have worms on board? First of all, where do they come from? And what symptoms are we going to have when they are on board, please?
Very basic ways you can get parasites is pets if you have pets. Yeah.
I'm pointing to my cat who is sleeping behind me. Yes.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
our pets harbor these things. We deworm our animals, but we're not deworming ourselves. And a lot of parasites, there's two styles of parasites, which we'll go over, but a lot of parasites are in our animals, and then they're sleeping with us, they're licking us, we're cleaning after them, we're cleaning up after them, and we're doing the best we can. But unfortunately, with microscopic parasites, no matter how great of a job you do, it really is something that you go and you touch something, you think you've washed your hands, there's a little bit of a microscopic issue, you touch your face, you touch your mouth, and it's over, right? Because we're the best host. They're running from all these other animals to the human because we are sedentary. We have our low frequency. I mean, we're sad all the time. We're like, just we're
Kim
ridiculous.
speaking truths over here.
Yeah, we're like, oh, well, we don't want to get up and go do those exercises because we'd rather sit here and eat the processed food, right? So not all of us, but it's really at the point where we're at now. That's what's happening to the human body. And without having a way to really clean our soil and cleanse, we really are harboring these things. And then you have a stressful moment and they expose themselves. They come out of dormancy. And so a lot of things, like you've asked me about how do you get them? Well, not just pets, but sushi. If you eat sushi, you 100% have parasites. They're in salmon specifically has around 10,000 parasite eggs in 1 square inch of salmon. And so fish is a huge culprit. And anytime you eat undercooked meat,
Yeah.
so you've got, and pork, pigs are a huge reason for parasites because they don't have any detox pathways. They don't have a lymphatic system that pushes out the parasite. So it just lives in them. And then we go and we eat the bacon and it's not crispy enough and there's a microscopic egg. And that's actually RFK Jr. has a tapeworm in his brain and it's neurocystic sarcoma and it ate some of his brain. And he talked about it a few years ago and he got made fun of because they're like, oh, that's what's wrong with you. And he's like, oh man, I just had a tape. Now he just has the physical body of that tapeworm. If it hasn't completely dissolved, is chilling in his brain.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't there? I think there's images on the internet of his brain
Oh,
in this. Yeah, yeah. Of this.
so many. We were talking about that on before this. I will never run out of material. There is so many worms. And I think what's so difficult for me coming from Western medicine is how is this so shocking, right? Because other countries know that this is a thing, like Mexico, they deworm with synthetic medications, which is big pharma meds. They deworm 2-3 times a year. In some things that you do, it's mandatory, some sports, because pinworms is lice of the butt.
Yeah.
And they know that. So if like you're wrestling in high school and it's like
Go
fungus.
on.
You
Okay,
start
okay,
itching.
okay.
If you're down there digging, right?
Yes,
You have worms.
chances are. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. And of course, and Western medicine goes, oh, it's just little kids that are in daycare and they, touch each other's butts and then touch their faces. And it's like, oh, no, no, no. It goes, I remember when I was new in practice and I was newly practicing functional medicine. I remember looking up on the CDC website how common, because somebody had said to me, parasite kits. And I thought, is that a thing? Well, I don't like sushi, so it's probably not me. But I have cats. I've had cats my whole life. Anyways, so I looked up the number on the CDC website, and it said 3 out of 5 American adults have parasites. Now, I'd be curious. Now, listen, that's 20 years old, that information. So I'd be curious to know what the updated numbers are. If
Oh,
you
it's
have
still
them.
that.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it really?
They've never updated it. Never. 60 million has been the number for like a decade.
Wow. It's not just we go down to Mexico for a trip and get Montezuma's Revenge and then that it's like literally every one of us in some way. Yes?
Yes, I believe 95% of us have parasites. I don't believe 60 million of us. I believe just in the United States, we have like 330 million people. I believe around 330 million Americans have them. We've never cleansed. We've
Yeah.
never cleaned our soil. We're the most like out there society in disbelief. This is taboo. Environmental toxins aren't real. They're the big
Yeah.
bad villain of it all. When in reality, I think that that's what a lot of our autoimmune diseases
Yes.
are. You
Yeah.
figure you've got like this biofilm that's just collecting mold spores and viruses and bacteria and parasites and Lyme, and there it's all just chilling inside of this hardened house shell, and we've never taken herbs to break that shell in order to expose these things, and so our body's like, what the hell is this? And it
Yeah.
starts to create this shell around it in creating tumors and really causing our bodies to like fight against itself because it doesn't know what these environmental toxins are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
foreign. So it really gets to a point where it doesn't know what to do. So it starts to take all of the energy from one organ and give it to this environmental toxin that it doesn't know what it is.
Okay, so I think we need to press pause on this interview right now so I can immediately go and start the parasite games. So
Look, it's
grossed
so
out.
easy. Look at this. Watch, right? I haven't
Yes,
done mine today. So
yes. Okay, please show. What have
I'm
you got?
done.
That's it. Wait,
That's
wait.
it, friend.
How do we like collect the thing? Like, don't we have to do a? Yeah.
Do
Okay,
you think
please.
it? I would
Education.
never make it hard. First off, my husband needs to cleanse. Okay.
Okay.
When this started, I needed him to cleanse. And if it was complicated, he wasn't doing
Gonna
it.
do it. No.
No, man. No, no, no. He's
That's
like,
right. Because of course, if we're in contact with somebody and
mhm.
they've got parasites and you don't, chances are, I remember
Yeah.
reading years ago that eventually couples have exactly the same microbiome, essentially.
The whole house has the same microbiome,
That
including
right?
your pets.
Oh boy.
You
Okay.
all have the same microbiome when you live in that house. That includes parasites and mold.
Yes.
So if you're hanging out together for a long period of time, you all share everything the same. And you want to all do the same thing. You all want to cleanse at once. You want to make sure everyone in the house resets their body at the same time because you can share them. When my husband and I found out, so our water was contaminated. I mean, that's really what this whole thing, and all of Washington's water is contaminated, by the way, and they just don't care. We've talked to the state of Washington. I've tested the state of Washington's water, two different cities, Hoodsport and Seattle, and they both have come back positive for nematodes, which are physical worms, which our
Yeah.
country doesn't test our water for physical worms. They only test our water for protozoas like
Yes.
Giardia, D. fragilis, and I had Cryptosporidium parvium, which is parvo, which kills puppies,
Yes.
because of sitting water up in the rainforest where we lived. And when
Wow.
I found that out, they all acted like they had never heard of that in their lives. And I'm like, how, what are you
So
talking about? There's signs
microbiologists.
everywhere. There's signs. Don't drink the water. Wait,
Jeez.
you live here in the Olympic Peninsula and you're telling me I'm lying that I have crypto with signs everywhere? I'm like,
Oh
oh,
my
Lord.
God. I mean, the thing is, Kim, you got to have a sense of humor about it because you were so sick.
So sick, dying. Like, and I say it with a smile now because
Yeah.
I really was dying. And my husband and I really knew it. We knew my organs were shutting down. We just didn't know why my body was shutting down. And so when we figured it out, obviously now I'm doing everything with a smile. And that's why I
Yeah.
love being the worm queen
Yeah.
because I have the opportunity to help chronically ill
Yes.
people
Yes.
who have no hope in their minds because they've been abandoned. And I had a lot of PTSD from this abandonment. I had a botched hysterectomy. I wasn't believed that there was more going on in my body when I would see these surgeries because again, I come from Western medicine.
Yeah.
I wrote curriculum around this stuff and I didn't believe this was something that could even have phased me. And so looking back, I'm like, well, I'm very smart. I was valedictorian over both my degrees. Like I was a
Mhm.
straight A 4.1 student. So if
Despite the worms.
yeah,
Yes.
man, and despite being as sick
Despite
as
the
I
worms.
was my whole
Yep.
life,
Hmm.
and so if I didn't know this, how does the general population
Yeah.
have any idea and then have the information to go to their doctor and say, I'd like to be tested. Oh, by the way, testing is not very accurate.
Mhm.
I can prove how inaccurate it is just by my own personal and now professional background because I trained lab technicians and they got 3 minutes to look at your stool. And if they didn't find anything, they would mark it negative, but there was a caveat at the bottom in fine print that says this is not in lieu of a parasitic infection. Unfortunately, when that happens in the lab world with insurance and they get that, insurance will deny synthetic antiparasitics because your doctor can't prove without a shadow of a doubt that you have parasites. And our testing is so inaccurate that my testing, I scooped the same poop that went to LabCorp as it went to Mexico. And Mexico told me I had parasites. And LabCorp with the same poop said, nope, you're negative for everything. So then my insurance would not cover the
Wow.
synthetic drugs, even though my doctor was like, yeah, this chick has worms.
Yep.
Like it's verifiable with pictures. And they were like, yeah, well, the lab that we're connected with is saying, nah, she doesn't. And so I'm not even in that 60 million because the CDC only uses what the labs that they're, together with do. And so that 60 million is not accurate in my opinion because of what I went through.
Yes.
And then I dug, like I'm not a digger, but I dug to find out what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And so as
Sure,
soon
you
as I
would.
found that out, and then we sent our water to get tested to Mexico because there wasn't a place at that time that here in the States that would test our water for parasites. And when that came back positive for nematodes and we notified the state of Washington, they
Yeah.
came out and tested and they were like, well, we don't see anything. You're just a crazy
Wow.
parasite lady. And I'm like, okay, well,
Bitch, I'm the worm queen. Take some
at
respect.
the time, I'm like,
Have some respect.
I'm the worm queen. Okay. And I was at the time too, but I just didn't want to rock it.
Yeah.
My social media world, I've got a screen. And at that time, I'm like, I don't know if I want my like real life to
Yeah.
like cross over to my social media life. And so
Yes.
when they came back negative, I'm like, you just gave me so much content.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Okay. Let's come back. I want to come back to some of the things that you've said. First of all, you've said we deworm our pets, but we
Yep.
don't deworm ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's right.
so you're suggesting, okay, so for everyone that's just listening to this and hasn't seen Kim use her tinctures, is tinctures the right word?
Yes, it's a
Yes.
tincture, and I want to totally go over why I chose tinctures, but keep going.
Okay. So she just put a couple of drops under her tongue of two different bottles, right?
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
correct? Okay, and that's it for your daily antiparasitic, yes?
Well, it's 3 tinctures in
Okay.
the Parify kit and the binder. So you take it 3 times a day, 3 tinctures 3 times a day, and you bind at night. You can bind anytime during the day if you'd like,
Yeah.
as long as it's within a 2-hour window because we use charcoal in our binder. It's called Cinnabon. And so I want to make sure that you take a binder as long as you're pooping. And it seems like most people at night, they can take it and then go to sleep and make things work for you while you're sleeping. I make my brain work for me by listening to subliminal messages and frequencies. I take binders at night and I make my body work for me. Like it's 8 hours of like, you should make your body continue to work.
Yes.
And so I found that the easiest way for people to slide into this world is by doing tinctures. It's readily available. You just take it in your mouth in water, you shoot it, and then you do that 3 times a day. You can do it before or after meals. There really is, it's just getting the herbs into your body. That's really what I designed it for. And it's so much easier as a tincture because it does absorb right away. It doesn't go have to fight with your stomach.
Yeah. Okay. This is so important to think of it that way. Okay. Where do I want to go next with this? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. There's literally so many balls up in the air. And I'm like, which one do I want to pull down? Okay. I know, right? So we need to deworm ourselves. And
Yes.
you have created a kit, which we'll make sure you guys have the link to Kim's kits in the show notes so that you can access this right away for yourself. Also, I'll keep you all posted because God knows the minute this conversation's done, I'm going to be running
I mean, it's just, you know what? I think it's just that fear, the thought process
Yes.
of what you'll see and what will come out. And,
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, the hardest thing is the skin. And so I actually am on a
Yeah.
cleanse. Do you see the little spot?
Yes, I
That's
do.
about as much as you're gonna have come out your skin. And you really will just think it's a zit. I had them come out my skin, wiggle out my
Oh,
skin. And
go on.
I have videos of other people having them wiggle out their skin. And that's what made me go so viral is because I was like,
Wow.
okay, so I come from Western medicine and I've never dewormed myself until now. And when I made the video, I
Yes.
accidentally put it out of order, which seemed to have been a really great strategy that I hadn't planned because I said carcasses everywhere and they came out my skin in my urine and it meant to say they came out my skin and urine and then carcasses, but I like just ran with
Wow.
it. And so I had them come out my skin and my urine.
Okay, so the woman who is listening to this right now is she is it's compelling information that we essentially all need to be dewormed, and she's terrified of what you
Yeah.
just said. So,
Hmm.
like, what can we realistically expect when we start the Parify kit, please?
You can realistically expect to feel some headaches
Hmm.
and some stomach gurgling.
Okay.
And I really tell people you don't have to like be on the toilet the whole time. It's very gentle. The way that we made the tinctures, because we soak the herbs in a 10,000 square foot manufacturing facility that we built ourselves, because we make everything ourselves. We're our own manufacturing, which is really rare nowadays. We don't have a
Hmm.
lab that does it. We do it. And so I really was conscientious when I started to develop this that in fact, I didn't want you to have a bad cleanse because a bad cleanse is like a bad trip. Even though you need to do it, you might not. So I didn't want people
Yeah.
to be like, oh Lord, I don't want to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this anymore. And
Yeah.
so I made it so gentle and effective. And what I realized when I was doing my first cleanses, I didn't have this whole setup. The first one I did, I was a mess. I got terrible candida. It ripped up my gut. I didn't bind. I didn't know what heavy metal detoxing was. I didn't know what candida was. Like, Western medicine doesn't tell you any of these things.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so here I'm doing my 30-day one, and like all the stuff's coming out of my skin. My husband's a mess. We're fighting. We have the worst die offs. I'm going viral too. So I got to suck that up and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I got to do these videos and then I can be sick. And
Yes.
so I really didn't feel well. And I learned a lot from that first cleanse of how bad it really was and how can we mitigate that and not have that
Mhm.
happen again for
Mhm.
me or anyone around me. So then I added other herbs to what I was doing. So it wasn't just wormwood and garlic and
Mhm.
black walnut hull and
Mhm.
clove. I then added in a candida and a antiviral herbs. And so then I started pairing things with
Mhm.
other products. And Oregon grapefruit is my best friend. I love Oregon grapefruit. Usnea, I love Usnea. These are two herbs that are in my Parify kit that help with viruses and help with candida and help with
Mhm.
small intestinal parasites. And
Mhm.
they're in my tincture sustain, which I take every day. And then I realized that heavy metals are what are weighting down physical parasites inside of your body. And so
Yes.
I went and grabbed some fulvic and I did a
Okay.
fulvic soak and I had them come out my feet.
What?
And I have it all on video.
Of course you do.
Yeah, yeah. Every day of my
Guys, you need to go to Kim's TikTok. Kim, what is your TikTok again, please?
life. Mrs. Rogers Hood, MRSROGERSHOOD. Like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Find the Helpers.
Yes, I
Yeah.
like it.
So
I
they
like
came out
it.
my feet. I did a
Okay.
soak and I had them swim out my pores. And a lot of people do. A lot of people, when they put their feet in fulvic for around 30 minutes, that makes it inhospitable. It absorbs through your skin. Not a lot of people know that every 15 minutes, 2 cups of water and everything in that water absorbs. So if you're sitting in bad water, or good water. It's all absorbing. Your body
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know any different. And so now you've
Mm-hmm.
got pharmaceuticals, parasites, heavy metals that are being absorbed. But if you use it in reverse and you soak into something that helps your body is going to start releasing things.
Yeah.
And so I had that. And then I just realized in the process that you got to do a heavy metal detox at the same time you're doing a parasite cleanse because you got to release them. Now, if you do a heavy metal detox without anti-parasitic herbs, you're going to see worms, but they're going to lay their eggs on the way out. And so you're
Wow.
trying to not continue to have cycles reproduce in your body. And so
Yeah.
when you do something like zeolite or like PBX, right? Or
Yep.
yeah, I think it's called PBX or something. It's
Yep.
like, and so you're seeing worms, but it's not an anti-parasitic. It's releasing heavy metals out of your body, which is then releasing the worms. And you've got to come in synergistically and remove the worms at the same time. You have to do it all at once. They're all frequencies that are inside of your body. They're all alive frequencies. It's like when the opera singer sings and breaks the glass,
Mm-hmm.
her voice got to the same frequency as that glass. And so all I figured out was what frequency is this ailment and what
Mm-hmm.
frequency is the herb and how are they going to work together in order to shatter the ailment. And so I realized that you got to remove the heavy metals. It can cause candida, so you got to remove that yeast. I actually never tested positive for Epstein-Barr virus
Mm-hmm.
until after I parasite cleansed. I actually
Interesting.
had 2 spinal taps because they were testing me for MS, but now I know I had Lyme. They were testing me for MS, and I came back negative for Epstein-Barr virus 2 times out of my
Yeah.
spinal fluid, which is the spinal fluid like tells everything.
Yep.
And mine did not. And so I know whatever I had in my body, it was hanging on to that virus. And when I cleansed the not right way, it released into my body, causing me then to have active Epstein Barr virus, chronic Epstein Barr virus for years, not even knowing it. And so I realized that you need to go in with like usnea, which is a virus herb. It goes in and it sweeps out viruses and bacteria so that when things dump out of the bodies of any sort of environmental toxin you have in your body, it's going to sweep it out. And so I learned that in the process of all of this because of my own issues that I had. So that's what made me realize I need to create my own kit. I need to do this for myself and my husband and maybe other people that are watching me because now I have 1 million followers. So it's really nice to go into it and be like, listen, here's what the problem is, but you do have a solution. And if you don't want to use my solution, I'm giving you all the free knowledge
Yeah.
so you can go and figure it all out for yourself, but at least you have guides. Like I have all sorts of ebooks that are free. The only thing I charge for is my kit, and that helps. Obviously, it's my job, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's my company, but
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that if you don't want to do my kit, you can go make your own. You can do other products, but at
Mm-hmm.
least you have a guide to help
Yeah.
you.
Right. Which you didn't have. You had to figure it
No.
out piecemeal. And
Mhm.
as you said, you and your husband a mess in the house, having a fight, stuff coming out your feet and your ass and your skin. I mean,
Oh,
you're painting quite a picture.
and oh, let me just add another
Please,
little picture onto it.
please.
We were living in a travel trailer
Oh
while
shit.
building our log home, which now I know had mold in it. So
Mhm.
we were living in black toxic mold while we were building our log home and deworming, and I went viral. And when I
Mhm.
paused from the Parify kit, I'd done it every day for a year and I cycled in like synthetics as well because we knew we were infested at this point. So
Mhm.
my doctor, who I love her to death, she believes me and believed me because she had pinworms from Bali just from running her toothbrush once underneath by mistake, brushing her teeth. She got pinworms instantly
Oh,
from the water in Bali.
yeah.
And so she was like, oh, yeah, worms are a thing. And so, long story short, we were living in a travel trailer. I was still not super well, and I'm gone viral, and I've started a business. And now I know that I have mold, toxic mold. We're
Yeah.
living in toxic mold. And so, it really ended up being, more than just parasites, but he and I were living in a trailer fighting. I mean, when you have die offs, it's wild. When you're like at a level where things are dying off, it doesn't compute with you. So they're, they're peeing and pooping in our bodies, they're dropping eggs. And so if you have a really good way of sweeping all of that out, it just helps make a better cleanse.
And this is the binder now that you're talking
The
about.
binder, which now I know you have to bind. I
Yeah.
added the heavy metals, the
Mhm.
candida, the parasites, and the worms, so that it's like a Z pack of
Yeah,
cleansing.
I like that. So let's talk about the binders for a second. As somebody who has also had a mold exposure, oh my God, what a shit show that is. And then trying to heal from that, it's a terrible experience. And I know that with the binders, I had to be really careful on just how much I was introducing the binders in because I found that actually flared my mold symptoms.
Mhm.
So, have you considered that? And what say you about the binders that you have in the Parify kit that for those of us that have had mold, should we be concerned or do we have to modify it in any way?
You don't have to modify it in any way. And in
Okay.
fact, before I even knew that I had mold poisoning and that was an issue, I actually realized that if there are spores that get dumped, you should use something like cinnamon. And that's why
Mm,
our binder is called Cinnabin, is because it's Ceylon cinnamon and coconut activated charcoal. And when you pair them together, they help pull out mold spores while you're binding using the charcoal.
wow.
And then I
Okay.
learned way more about mold since finding out. I actually have a mold kit. It's called Moldies because it was
Okay.
so complicated and it was so overwhelming when I found out after
Mhm.
a year of parasite cleansing that I now had mold and need to mold cleanse, which it's a bitch.
Oh, it sure
I
is.
I
Yeah.
would say I would take parasites every day over having mold poisoning. Every day because mold is so hard to cleanse. It's
Yeah.
so I say that parasites are controlling and mold is brainwashing. You get mold holds, you get mold fog, which is your brain is fogged up and
Hmm.
you don't realize how bad it is. And I watched my husband have mold hold and mold fog and mold rage. People don't realize how ragey you get with mold. It's called mold rage. So it's because they're like little pins, right? They're little
Yeah.
needles that have just
Hmm.
embedded themselves into your fabric of your body, and
Hmm.
then they're pushing your cells around. And so it's very hard because they're
Yikes.
also encased in the biofilm. And a
Hmm.
lot of mold cleanses don't add a biofilm herb, which
Hmm.
we do.
Yeah.
And so you got to go in and synergistically remove the mold as well. But
Yes.
when you're parasite cleansing, which is what I recommend you do first when you have mold poisoning, is do
Okay.
2 to 3 Parify kits before the mold kit
Hmm.
because they hold on to the spores. So what happens when you're doing a Parify kit is that
Hmm.
you are going to feel so good. You're going to feel so great when you have mold poisoning. And it's because the wormwood has gone in and suppressed
Hmm.
the mold spores from continuing to colonize. So
Hmm.
if you thought about your body and you split it in half when you have mold, it looks just like the wall that has the mold or wherever your mold is. It's
Yeah.
fuzzy, it's black, and it's in your body. And
Hmm.
so if you can actually cleanse for 2 to 3 months prior to doing a mold cleanse, it will suppress that from processing anymore. It will
Hmm.
allow you to boost your immune system. Your
Hmm.
brain fog will be gone, and you will actually be able to go in and tackle it in a
Wow.
much better way. And I
Yes.
learned all of this because of what I was doing. So for a year, I was cleansing and cleansing and cleansing. And then I got off. I took a 7 day break. And in that 7 days, my eyes swelled shut and I lost half my hair. And it's
Wow.
because I was living in the mold. Now, if you are living in the mold and don't know it, that's an issue to parasite cleanse because the wormwood is going to continue to suppress that. But if you already know you have mold poisoning, do a parasite kit to suppress it so you feel better so that you then hop on a mold cleanse and feel good because mold cleansing is very psychological. It's very
Hmm.
emotional, it's very
Hmm.
mental,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
it's a little painful. And so I realized all of that as I was going through this journey as well. So 2021 was parasites for me, 2022 was mold, and
Hmm.
2023 was Lyme.
Oh my God, you have been through quite the journey, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you've walked the fire. Okay, that's really useful. By the way, what's mold hold? I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, a mold hold is what my husband had when I showed him in our trailer the day I found out that we were living in black toxic mold from my blood work. I then started searching the trailer and I realized that it was in the corner and I pulled all of our furniture away and I said, Jeremy, this is killing us. Jeremy, this is mold and this is killing us. And I'm leaving right now. I never want to come back in here again. I will live out in a tent if I had to. Like I was willing to do anything. We were selectively homeless, is what they call it when you're living in a trailer. I'm like, I'm going even more homeless if that's what it takes, you know?
Yep,
And
yep.
so I show him and he's like, it's not that bad.
Mm.
That no, no, babe. And I'm like, Jeremy, my levels in my blood say that this is killing us. And like legitimately we should be in the hospital for as toxic of mold as we have been breathing for years in this trailer. And it's because of this. Do you see it? And he was like, yeah, but it's not that bad. And I'm like,
Wow.
I go, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You
Are you
can't take
coming?
anything with you
Yeah.
because it
Yep.
all has the
Yep.
spores on it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I'm going to take a pair of underwear, a t-shirt, and a pair of pants, and we're leaving. I'm out. And if you want to come, I would love it. But if you don't, I'm not staying here. I got to go. This is killing us. And he was, after about an hour of trying to convince him to leave, he finally agreed. And we never went back. Anytime we went back in there to get our stuff to clean it, we had
Yep.
to use respirators. But
Yes.
that's a mold hold. You don't believe it's really that bad. You don't believe that this is an issue and it can't be that bad, but it is.
Wow. Okay, so because of my own experience, I've talked to lots of patients about mold. And even though I live in dry ass Alberta, we still have mold here,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I have seen that look on people's face. They're like, well, it's not that big a deal. I don't really have to throw out all my books and my papers,
Yeah.
do I?
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Big. And
Yes.
people, they're coming out with more studies that people that have mold have Lyme.
Yes. Yeah,
People
I
that
do.
got mold poisoning are testing positive for Lyme. And because we've been indoctrinated to think that only Lyme can come from ticks, and actually Lyme can come from any warm-blooded animal. It's not just deer, it's not just ticks. It can come from anyone. And I've actually
Wow.
been in the hunter world lately because I
Yes.
went on Sam Mackey's podcast, Take It Outside with Jay Cutler, and they're hunters. And I talked to a ton of hunting people that were, killed the deer, dug in, and got toxoplasmosis from them. And then
Wow.
also got Lyme from the deer because of the blood. You exchange blood, right? You've got to
Yeah.
cut. You're in there cleaning them out. Your blood exchanges. And so anybody can get Lyme. Anybody can get toxoplasmosis gondii. Anybody can get parasites. They're not exclusive. They love us. We are the best host.
Sure we are. Yeah, of course we are. We are the the ultimate place to hang out for a while. It's
Yeah.
dark, it's warm, there's constantly food, there's not a lot of jostling around. It's
Yeah.
it's a pretty good place.
We're
Okay, let's
pretty
talk
good.
about
We're
it's
pretty
amazing.
good. And
Isn't
Western medicine people are the best because we're just dumb about it. We're like, we're first world countries. There's no way that this could happen to
wow.
us. So I think that when they get us, we are trifecta for them. They're like, woo, we made it.
We made it. Okay, we made it to North America. Woo! Okay, let's talk about the moon and the
Yeah.
parasites.
Okay.
Let's go there, please. What do you know? What do you have to speak to?
Okay, so working in the field, the full moon, everybody always says, "Oh Lord, here comes that full moon," because people
Mhm.
get crazy. And the reason why they get crazy is because their serotonin is higher, their melatonin is lower, and parasites eat serotonin. That's why you feel bad about yourself because that's your happy hormone. And so when it's going up higher and you've got something munching on it so that it stays lower and in your body it doesn't know what to do with this moon, you go crazy. And so itchy butt happens. Actually, they say that if you think you have parasites during the full moon, to go eat some ice cream and you will know instantly. Instantly, they will start to come out your butt.
Go on. What do you mean?
Instantly. The dairy of it all. In fact, the Amish as a tradition, stick
Wait,
your
Kim.
anus
Wait.
in a milk bath.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Okay, here's what's coming to mind. I'm literally, it's a full moon. I'm going crazy. I take the ice cream, and then I have my husband looking at my butt to watch it
No, just
crawls
get some tape.
out.
Just get some tape. Just tape your butt shut. Get some scotch tape. They'll come out and get stuck to the tape, yo.
Somehow that's better.
I don't know. Is it better to put your butt in milk to see if something comes out and you got to grab its head and pull it out?
Whoa.
Gives you a whole nother definition to why the Victorian age came up with the milk bath, doesn't it?
It sure does.
That's why.
My God.
But that's why.
Is it really?
Yes, because they would eat tapeworms to get skinny. And then the way that they would remove those tapeworms is they would stick their butt in milk, whole milk, in order for them to pull the head of that tapeworm out. And a tapeworm can have up to 4,600 uteruses and 1,000,000 eggs can be produced a day.
Bro, I'm supposed to have my lunch after this, man.
Is it salmon?
No, it's not, thank God, but it is chicken.
Don't watch my account.
Okay, I won't. Okay. And here I thought I was doing so well with my fish because I have a fish co-op and it's direct from the fishermen off the West Coast. And
Oh, well, go ask those fishermen how many worms they see on a daily. They'll look at you like you're crazy for asking that. They'll be like, all fish have worms. I live in Seattle and I've gone down to the market here, the world famous Pike Market, and I've asked them, I've interviewed them, and they're like, they looked at me, they're like, yeah, all fish have worms. And I'm like, tell society, because society doesn't think that.
No, they don't. They don't. I know there was a very famous video on social media of like somebody filming a salmon fillet at Costco, and there's like a worm like waving. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Oh, that's probably gotten famous because of me. So yeah. If you go and type in worm queen salmon, I'm going to be in the corner being like, okay. And then next level funny about salmon is that's my niece's last name, Salmon.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, yeah. And I'm allergic to salmon because I give it so much negative thought. My body's instantly rejected it.
Like,
I got a hair analysis and it's like #1 food you're allergic to, salmon. And I was doing a podcast because I have my own. And we're a traveling podcast. And the girl looked at me and she's like, of course. Of course you're allergic to salmon. I'm like, I know. It was my favorite food ever. So I didn't just ruin it for the world. I ruined it for myself. So now everyone has to pay.
Oh God, that's so funny. I seriously have I have salmon in my freezer. What's going to happen now? Okay. Please tell me, aren't you supposed to freeze the meat and then it kills all the parasites and then it's okay?
Glad you said that because I was going to say it.
Dude,
no. Okay.
What?
So here's the thought process of that. The only thing that is going to kill worms is by boiling it above 212. There was a 46,000-year-old worm in the Russian permafrost that woke up and started eating and producing babies.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So freezing it is not a guarantee. Cooking it is the only guarantee in life because all these people come into my page and they're like, so we flash freeze it. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Is it colder than the permafrost? Because you should go Google. It was 46,000. And then like 4 years later, it was like 50,000-year-old worm woke up in like the Siberian permafrost or something like that. I mean, it was wild. And I've done a bunch of videos. I've done videos on so many of these topics just because I can point to it and be like, listen, I'm not just the only one saying this. Literally, look, it's a fact.
Yeah, I'm the one that's making sense of it right now. I'm the one that's talking about it. Oh my God. So, okay, let's come back to the moon. So is there an implication on when we do the kit on the moon cycle? Like, is there a certain time of the moon cycle we should be doing the kit, or are we going to see more things come out of our ass at a certain time in the moon cycle?
Well,
sorry, Kim. Let's just be real at this point.
We're going to be real. Let's go. I mean, personally, I think you should do it anytime. If you want to get more of them, then you should do it around the full moon. And actually, the French have their own folklore over this, their own way of doing it because they eat a lot of snails. And snails is produces schistomiacin. And actually, that's what I had. And it coats the inside of your bladder and your reproductive. And the NHIA or the National Health Institute, they say that there is a lot of unnecessary hysterectomies due to schistomiacin, which comes from fresh water and also comes from snails. And the French have known this. And so they say to deworm 3 days prior to the full moon because they start to dislodge themselves out of your body and reproduce. And so they say start 3 days prior to the full moon and make sure you do it over the full moon in order to just get as many as possible. That's all you're trying to do is just get as many as possible. And so if you can't, I don't always wait until the full moon. I just do it when I know if I've eaten questionably. I travel a lot now because of this. And so if I'm eating raw produce out, then I make sure, which I really rarely do anymore because it lives on produce that hasn't been properly soaked and cleaned. And I never eat raw meat. I do not eat fish anymore, which is sad. And probably the most questionable food that I eat is crab, but it has to be steamed normally. So I'm not as worried about that as if I eat anything. And I just don't eat anything raw. I don't do any ice and I don't drink tap water. And so I really am conscientious about those things. And so when I realize that this is something that can happen, you just cleanse. You just do the tinctures prophylactically. You do them as a proactive measure. I mean, that's really what I'm teaching now to people. And so to go back to that full moon, it is the easiest to get more during the full moon. It's the most active. But when you do a 30-day cleanse, you're going to be doing it over a full moon. Like 30 days, you're going to hit a full moon at some point in your 30 days. And you can go more than 30 days. I just didn't want to create a kit that was more than 30 days because the general population does not like to do something this long. They start to get tired of it. And so I want them to be able to continue to do it. And that's why I chose the 30 days in case anyone was wondering. You can do back to backs. You just want 7 days in between cleanses because of the fact that you want them to lay their eggs and have the eggs hatch so you can come in and get rid of them because the younger larvae, they're not going to dump those eggs like the adults. So on your first cleanse, you're usually removing the adults. And then on your second cleanse, you're going in and you're removing the eggs and the offspring. So the first one, some people say isn't as hard as the second one. My second one was so intense. I had them literally just coming out of everywhere. And it was because I really was super infested and had no idea it was in my water until about 3 months into this journey. Now, I wasn't drinking the water. I was brushing my teeth. I was showering in it. I was soaking my retainers in it. And I thought, oh, I'm doing everything great with my produce cleaning. No, man, I was cleaning it with the water. So I really wasn't doing the same scenario as what I know now.
Okay. Menopause skin. Nobody's favorite part of the transition at midlife we call perimenopause and menopause. If you're noticing fine lines, wrinkles, or sagging skin, maybe more texture during your menopause, I have some really exciting news for you. Menopause can deplete your skin's collagen, speeding up the aging. But here's the news. Vitale Skincare has built its entire line on the power of GHK-Cu copper peptides, a proven ingredient that signals your skin's stem cells to produce new and healthy collagen. My personal favorite, Vitale's Restorative Skin Cell Serum. I love how it rejuvenates and restores my skin from within, revealing a firmer, more radiant glow. Want to experience this transformation for yourself? Head to vitaliskincare.com and use the code LOVELY at checkout for 20% off. That's vitaliskincare.com, VITALI skin, SKINCARE.com, code LOVELY. Because with Vitale, youthful, vibrant skin is just a step away at any age. Well, and you've just answered a bunch of questions for me. Like you can do the kits back to back and you're getting, and gosh, I remember, by the way, I was a veterinary assistant very briefly when I was in high school. And that was my first job was to look at
Oh,
stool samples under the microscope. I was all of 16. I was grossed out by the fact that I had to chop up the poop and make a little poop water out of it and then take a look. Um, to the best of my knowledge, I don't remember ever seeing anything, but I was told it would be pretty obvious. I would see it either eggs or moving worms,
yeah.
is what I was told. I
But
would
see, and
see.
that's what all lab technicians are told. That is how I trained as well. And that's not always the way that it is. And so because we haven't gotten that in-depth training
Hmm.
like parasitologists or other labs that specialize in this,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
fact that you've got some 20-year-old, maybe younger, looking at the stool, they get 3 minutes, and on top of that, you're only getting a 1 second snapshot of what's in their gut because they're not instructing you as a patient to do it over 4 days. So you get two vials to scoop your poop in, and you're supposed to put it in the fridge. They don't instruct people to do this. So immediately it's not accurate, right? But
Hmm.
if you're going to go get tested, the way to do it is over a 4 day period. And what you do is you scoop just a little bit into the first vial, you stick it in the fridge, okay? But don't fill
Please
the
label it,
vial.
people. Please label it. Do not eat.
Someone's like, is this a chocolate shot?
It's chocolate pudding. What is happening?
Dead.
Sorry.
Do you imagine if I had to stay serious with any of
Oh
this?
my God, this is great. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that laugh. That was so good. Okay, poop in the fridge. Go on. Okay, now be serious and tell us about the rest of the story about poop in the fridge. No chance, right?
Okay, ready?
Yep.
You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna
Oh Lord, we have to laugh, people. We have got to laugh about this because it sounds like Kim is telling us that literally this is every single one of us,
every
essentially.
person. I'm laughing so hard I gotta
Mm.
open my window because I'm sweating. Every person has worms, at least in Western medicine countries, because we've been
Wow.
totally indoctrinated to think we're just better than that.
Yes. And so really it's all laughter aside, the truth is it's an icky topic,
Yeah.
but if we've all got it,
Yeah.
then Kim educating on us on what you're going to see and what could happen
Yeah.
at least prepares us in some way. And
Yeah.
yes, please laugh about it. Worms coming out of your bum is funny. I'm sorry,
Skin,
but
bum, urine, mouth, eyes, nose. My best
oh,
friend, my
yeah,
co-host on What's Eating You, blows them out her
yes.
nose. She's in a much better space. I've had them come out everywhere. And
Wow.
it because you start to make your body inhospitable. And they're like, bitch, I don't want to
You're
live
out.
in you. I'm out.
Bitch, I'm out.
You're like, good, go. You
Yeah.
sucked my energy. You took my life
Yeah.
force, asshole. I don't have time for this.
Yes.
I have a mission. This is my mission. This is my mission in life. I know I was
I
chosen
can
for this.
see.
I know
Yes.
that this is what led me to this. I'm not just some random chick that's on the internet talking worms. I have like the medical background. I mean, there's so
Yes.
many levels of why this is my journey, like and
Yes.
to teach people, to tell people like, okay, you got to scoop 4 days worth of shit into a little container so you can get 4 days worth of a snapshot of your gut. And
Yeah.
they know because you're talking about them at their verbal frequency. And so they're going to try and hide. They're evaders. They don't want to be caught. And they know how you're doing it because they're in a live frequency inside of your body. They control your mind. They tell
Yeah.
you when to
Yeah.
eat sugar. They tell you because they're nocturnal creatures to have insomnia. At 7 p.m., those assholes are waking up for their morning, wanting breakfast, and you're tired, wanting to go to bed, and then you're
Yeah.
up all night because of them. It doesn't have anything to do with you having insomnia. It has everything to do with the fact you have a parasite in your gut that's dictating what time you should be eating, what you should be eating,
Yeah.
when you should be asleep. because they want to thrive. They are energetic vampires that are sucking
Mm-hmm.
your life force. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you get a final break, when you tell them who's boss and you tell them with the Parasite kit and these herbs, I'm no longer putting up with your shit no more. I'm kicking you out. And I'm going to do this at least 3 to 4 times a year because this is worth it. It's worth doing 30 days, 3 tinctures, and a binder to actually reconnect with your soul. Your soul and your body are one. But for some reason, these things can get in there and they can make you question yourself. Toxoplasmosis gondii, which
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
earlier,
Mm-hmm.
is such a crazy thought process. It is actually not just a cat parasite, but that's how we all know about it in the crazy cat lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, toxo is originally found in a mouse or a rat who is sexually attracted to the cat's urine. And because it can rewire your brain, tells it, do not be afraid to go up and like do it with this cat because you want to be sexually attracted to the urine. And then the cat eats it because the next stage is an enzyme inside of the cat's gut. And so, like
Mm-hmm.
Tom and Jerry, they're not friends, but they are because of Toxoplasmosis gondii. So now all of a sudden
Wow.
the cat eats that mouse, it goes to the next stage of toxo, it goes poop, and we've been told don't scoop that poop when you're pregnant. But
Mm-hmm.
really, all people can get it. So people are in the mindset that only pregnant women can get
Mm-hmm.
toxo, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just not the truth. And so then you get toxo, and all of a sudden you're running around having sex, you're promiscuous with people. You're like, why?
Trying to
And
find
then
the
you're
cat
doing,
urine.
yeah.
Anyways, yep.
And then you're doing crazy things like riding crotch rockets. They did a study that 100% of crotch rocket riders, which is a
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle that's like, "Vroom," and then it's all, you're kind of stupid in it.
Mm-hmm.
They had toxo because it changed the fear. You don't have fear anymore. So it takes
Right.
away the fear and it tells you to go sleep around. And actually, some fighters go down to Mexico to get toxo so that they're not afraid to get the shit kicked out of them.
That is bizarre.
Because
Wow.
it's alive. It's in your alive body telling you to do these things. So I think that in candida is an overgrowth of yeast. And
Mm-hmm.
candida, I mean, we're having the holidays rolling up. You should do your Parasite kit, even if it's just right before the meals, because it will help curb that sugar craving and you won't feel so trashy during the holidays, even if you're not doing a full cleanse. Just by taking the herbs prior to eating,
Mm-hmm.
you will have less of a want because you're like, listen,
Interesting.
I'm boss here, like not
Yeah.
you. And so
Yeah.
you're putting them in their place.
Girlfriend, I'm so hard on that kit the minute we're done here, so don't even worry about me.
It's so good, man.
I am on it.
And I think that like it's herbs, right? So we're taking all these supplements, and I think because it got, I named it with parasites and it's my
Yeah.
niche, but I really wanted people, one, to have a better relationship with herbs. I really wanted to educate people on how great herbs are and
Mm-hmm.
how many ailments can actually go away because you're just taking an herb that
Yeah.
has the same DNA structure as most medications that
Mm-hmm.
Big P has done. Amanita
Yes.
is one of them. Amanita is the same DNA structure as benzodiazepine, and I was on
Is
Klonopin
that
for
right?
22 years, 4 milligrams a day.
Wow.
And that's what
Wow.
started this as well. I had to get off of it. I was having
Yep.
Parkinson's like
Yep.
symptoms, which
Yep.
now I know is very similar
Yep.
to Lyme and
Yep.
also benzo side effects. And so when I learned about how great mushrooms were and how great herbs were and like
Mm-hmm.
how they can help my body, I just have to shout this. I just
Yeah.
have to have people educate themselves so much. And I give all of that because it's so important to me that the
Yes.
human body is looked
Yes.
at in such a different way by us.
Yes. And I just want to say if anyone is thinking the worm queen has lost her mind by talking about toxoplasmosis and how it changes our mind and all of that, we know from studying the microbiome, which is the natural bugs that are inside our gut and on our skin, vagina, lungs, nose, all of these places, we know that the quality of those bugs is directly associated with the quality of our experience. Those bugs communicate up the vagus nerve into the brain. So This is not like Kim's not even saying anything that's new. It may be new to you hearing it, but we know that I remember one of probably my favorite teacher on the microbiome, who's a gastroenterologist in New York City, and he would say, talk to your bugs. They're listening to you anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So say, like you taught, they taught us to talk nice things to our plants, talk nice things to the microbiome. This like the garden inside of you. Encourage them. I know now we've both lost our minds, Kim. It started with the poop snack in the fridge.
It's not a chocolate shot.
No, absolutely not.
This is not a chocolate shot. Do not eat this.
Hot sakes. Oh Lord.
It's
Anyways.
true though. It's true. They're listening. They can feel you. I sent a kit. I did a documentary with this guy, and he lived in Ecuador, and his wife did not believe anything that we were saying. Like
Mhm.
zero belief. And he had a dog. He had a 3-year-old, and he has a wife. And because this was so heavily talked about in his home, that when the box arrived, not even opened, when it
Mhm.
finally arrived in Ecuador,
Yeah.
his dog took a shit of worms on the floor in front of him when he set the box down
Are you
on
serious?
the countertop. And then his daughter went into the corner and pooped worms next 5 minutes later. And he called me, and it was the middle of the night. And he
Wow.
said, I need to speak with you immediately when you get this message. And I was like, what? And
Is
so his
happening.
wife was like, what is happening here? And I'm like,
Yeah.
they know, they
Yeah.
know. They just, you can smell. It's like an essential oil, right? You smell it, it puts them on alert. And so it's the
Yeah.
same thing. You think about it, you're now going to get itchy. You're now
Yeah.
going to, because you have alerted them that you know about them by just thinking about them.
There's been a couple of times that you've said some things today where I literally have felt like there was just, it's just, I had a strange, like, out of body sort of moment, right? And this is making sense because I had a few moments ago, I thought, Fiona, you have dissected human cadavers. You've been up
Right.
to your elbows for years looking inside. And that didn't freak you out, but why is this such a thing? So apparently my worms have been put on notice, yeah?
Yeah, they're on notice, Fiona. They're on notice. They know.
Get
They
out.
know. They know. I mean, think about it,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay, I also did cadavers in college. I worked
Yes.
on 3 different ones. I loved it. It was one of my favorite things to
Yes.
do. I had
Such a
a
privilege.
80-year-old who still had her uterus, which was
Hmm.
cool. And then I worked on a male. Oh, and she had black lung but never smoked. So we actually had to break protocol and call her family and ask why she had black lung because it wasn't included inside of the
Fungus.
documentation that came
Yeah.
when she came to us. And so we had to break protocol, and they were like, "Oh, well, she lived in a coal mining."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this was the like 2004, so
Yeah.
we're really not that advanced if you think about it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
really trying to become more advanced. But yeah, I loved working on cadavers. I thought I love the human body. I think that
Hmm.
it's the coolest thing. But yeah, I mean, they
Yeah.
know. Think about it when
I,
you're doing like a frequency of any kind, like 528 or
yeah.
432, like
Yeah.
it's balancing your cells and it's helping with your mitochondria. They know because it's that word is their frequency, just like the opera singer, right?
Yeah.
Bringing her voice to that glass, it
Yeah.
shatters it because we're only frequency. We
Yes.
are
Yeah.
frequency and light. And
Yes.
so when you have something like this and you're talking about it, it knows. They
Yeah.
know. They know.
Yeah, yeah, I can feel that. I can literally feel that inside today. So, of course, we're talking a little bit on a quantum level here to the listeners. The reality is, we can see a single percentage of what is actually around us. So,
Mhm.
there is energies and frequencies and all kinds of dancing things around us, and we can only see very little of the material world, shall we say,
Mhm.
is just a tiny part of what's around us. So I know we kind of took a I don't know, maybe the worms made us laugh. We talked about the poo shot. I don't know. It is not jello.
This is not chocolate pudding. Okay.
0% chocolate.
This is not chocolate milk.
Oh my God.
This is poop.
Honestly, now I feel like a little kid because we are laughing about the things
Laughing about poop, man. You know, I left urgent care because I did not like parasites.
Wow.
Yeah, I left because, well, worms didn't bother me as much as lice and scabies because it's all a parasite.
Sure.
But, ugh, no, thank you. No, thank
And
you.
here
And
you
now here
are.
I am. Yeah.
Wow. Figures. It just goes to figure. Okay, well, listen, I just want to say thank you for being as passionate and just so enthusiastic about any chance you're a Scorpio. Did you just have your birthday?
No, I'm a Virgo. Full
Oh,
Virgo. Not
interesting.
not any okay. I had all of my sign read, right? Like into your house.
Yeah,
The only thing that's not a Virgo is my moon and it's Pisces, and it's why I cry all the time. My
sure.
house is Virgo, my sun is Virgo, my sign is Virgo, my second
Wow.
house is Virgo, and I'm a manifestor generator if you do human
Wow.
design. So
Yes.
I'm a Virgo Manny Jenny, and my team knows it.
Yes. Yeah, I was
Because
going to say you were designed for this.
yeah, I was designed for this. Like love it. I studied it, and I don't know if a lot of people know, but all the way to the point where we started in 175 square feet, which is just like a single car garage. And now we have over 14,000 square feet of a manufacturing facility
Amazing.
that we want to control all of this ourselves. We're not a lab. We literally soak these herbs ourselves. We process and double extract them into a tincture. We make our own binder. We brought stuff in from China in order for us, like pill machines, to
Yep.
make the product with us in order
Mhm.
for us to be able to not have it all hand done, which is what we did at the beginning. And now we've developed our manufacturing facility. So I went from dying in the woods to where I'm at now because of dedication to
Yeah.
me and
Yeah.
allowing me to learn more and be open to what other possibilities the problems could be. And then I take those problems to my doctor because I'm well versed.
Mhm.
And so even when I wasn't well versed in all of this and I would go to the doctor and I would get gaslit, I would still go and try and prove them all wrong because this is my body. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's a
And
very
so
Virgo thing to do too. I love
very
it.
Virgo. I'm
I love it.
very Virgo.
I think so. I mean, I can really see it. And by the way, I just want to say to the listeners, when I hear that, I go, that's the person I want formulating my tinctures. So,
Hmm.
yes. So, thank you very much for your enthusiasm. I know that I can feel when the people listening to the show are going to resonate deeply with the information, and I can feel that strongly today. And just like you, my job is to dispense information that maybe is outside of what other people are talking about, so we can see things and get healing in a different level. And so
Hmm.
I thank you very much for bringing that to the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. Now please tell the listeners. I will include the link for the kits in my show notes so you guys can go right there for it. But where can people find out more about you, please?
You can go to my podcast, What's Eating You with the letter U. It's on YouTube as well as all streaming platforms. I'm on all of the social media, TikTok, Instagram, under Mrs. Rogers Hood, MRSROGERSHOOD. And you can find me on rogershood.com. You can also Google Kim Rogers Worm Queen, and psh, I'm everywhere.
I'm sure you are.
I am. I'm going mainstream. I have gone on Brian Austin Green's podcast, Oldish. I just wrapped up a podcast with Brotherly Love, which is Joey Lawrence. They're all 90 stars that have
Yes.
podcasts now.
Amazing.
And I'm just really pushing the buck because we really need to do this. I'm looking at medical reform. I hired a lawyer
Yes.
that's a lobbyist on the Hill. So
Great.
I just really feel like this is something that we should be able to take into our own control and have our own
Yes.
decisions on it.
Yes, absolutely. To get back to the sovereignty conversation.
Hmm.
Okay, I have a final question I ask all
Yes.
my guests on the show. I'd love to ask you now if I can. Um, Knowing what you know now, Kim, what would you tell your younger self? Don't eat the brown container in the fridge. Sorry,
And it's
It's you.
not
It's not
chocolate
me.
milk. Girl, pinworms is lice of the butt. And itchy.
Oh my God. Anything else? Kim Rogers, the Worm Queen. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
The information and other content provided in this show, or in any linked materials, is not intended and should not be construed as medical advice, nor is the information a substitute for professional medical expertise or treatment. We are doctors, but we aren't your doctor. Seek your doctor's opinion. If you or any other person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have heard in this podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. The opinions and views expressed on this page and in this show have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, health practice, or other institution. Thank you.